Hi, I'm Dr. Ginny Vandergon, and I am a biology faculty member here at CSUN. I was hired 20 years ago after getting a PhD at UC Riverside in plant genetics. My hiring was actually a little different than many of the faculty in our department because I was hired to do genetics, but I was also hired to do K-12 science education outreach. So I'm going to talk about both of those prongs of my job because I really enjoy working with students, and I do have students that work with me both on both sides of my position. So first I'm going to start by talking about the research work I do. So behind me is a picture of some flowers, and I do look at color in flowers, in particular the pinks, the blues, the reds, and the purples. And what I'm interested in is how did color evolve in plants? And in particular, I look at pathway evolution. Currently, my undergrads have been working on looking at genes that in these pathways in mosses and ferns so that we can start to have an understanding of where this pathway started in the evolution of plants. I do molecular genetics work. So you learn molecular tools in my lab. You learn about sequencing and PCR and cloning and all of those kind of general molecular techniques. And also I do bioinformatics, which is where I look at sequences and try to figure out rates of change and when genes may have evolved and when they had common ancestors, et cetera. So those are the kinds of things I'm interested in. And I do accept both graduate students and undergrads in my lab. I have had some of my grad students be successful in publishing, and I think that for the most part, they enjoy working in the lab, and I try to have lab meetings, and we read articles, and we do a journal club, and we try to do some social things so that they're part of a team of collaborators. So the other aspect of my job is doing K-12 science education outreach, which is why I'm wearing the shirt I'm wearing, because I'm actually the director of the San Fernando Valley Science Project on the CSUN campus. And our team calls themselves the CSUN Science Learning Collaboratory. And what we do is we work with K through 12 teachers, mostly in LAUSD, but I actually have reached out in the last few years and have been working statewide on some of the professional development I do. So my belief is that science needs to be taught for all students in all grades. And because of that, I actually was part of the framework committee for the state of California, and I wrote the framework for high school biology. In my past life, I was a high school biology teacher. And so that is part of the reason that I was hired to do the K-12 science education outreach piece. I also do a lot of service around that. So I run Earth Day and I help with Pi Day. And that's another aspect of the job that I love, working with students and having them help me by designing workshops and working with local kids that get a chance to come to campus and use some of our equipment and interact with college students, and they always have a ball. Then I also do work with the actual teachers, and really what I'm trying to do is get them passionate about teaching science and teaching science as a way of engaging students in the science process. So it's not just memorizing a whole bunch of facts, but it's actually getting them to ask investigative questions and analyze data and do all of those kinds of things, which is really exciting, and the teachers I work with are really great and have a good time doing that with their students. So if you have any desire to work on either of those projects in my lab, either the research on the anthocyanin pathway, which is the color pathway in plants, or on K-12 science education, then reach out to me and email me. I am open to answering any questions and working with you in the future.